Hey, AfterBuzzers, Spotlight Honors. We have Savvy Shields here, Miss America 2017. We can't wait to talk to her.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
So excited!
My God.
You guys,
So
we have
hype.
Savvy Shields here, Miss America 2017. We're so excited to talk
so
to you.
excited to be here.
And
I'm
I'd just
so
like to
glad.
clarify, you guys. Savvy requested Thunderstruck.
I did.
Because it means something to her. So let's hear all about it. This
Very
is this is what
emotionally
you
attached to Thunderstruck by ACDC.
Which is weird.
I am,
But we
though.
like it.
But really, truly, it
Yeah.
was what I listened to for every interview, or before my Miss America interview, I should say.
Okay.
So before, like, you go into the judges' room, I
Yeah.
like put my earphones on and like blasted Thunderstruck to
Yes.
like make sure that I was hyped.
It
and
really
then we
makes
walked
sure.
in there.
Right, right.
Don't know if I should be proud. My dad's really proud of that, though.
Yeah,
but
that's amazing. Probably reminds you of your dad. Gets you
It
excited.
does.
That's awesome.
It does. It gets me really hyped. He's a weightlifter, so I'm thinking like,
Oh, really?
it's gonna
Oh,
get
that's
really
awesome.
hyped.
Yeah. Oh, nice. So you get out, you
gosh.
have to do curls. You
I
just
feel like I
have to
have
do it.
to.
Yeah.
Walk in the interview room doing lunges the whole time.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, we're so excited to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
And we're coming to the end of your reign.
I'm 19 days.
Oh
19
my gosh.
days.
Can you even believe it?
No.
Does
I
it
mean,
feel?
It feels.
Well,
Yeah.
how does it feel?
Because it feels both ways. Because
Right.
it feels both ways. It
Right.
feels like it was a day ago, and at the same time, it feels like it happened 10 years ago.
Right.
Because we've done so much.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped. So when I think back of how much I've done, it feels like it's 10 years. But at the same time, it's
Right.
gone so fast.
Right. And your days are jam-packed, right?
Yes, sister.
You are, I mean, this morning you were telling me you were up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Doing
Doing phone interviews,
telethon.
curling my hair with one hand.
So impressive.
Thank you. It's my new talent that I do on stage.
I like
I
that.
just curl with one. I get ready with one hand.
Ooh, that's
You know.
good. That's awesome.
That's what we need to have the girls do. Make
Right.
sure they're really prepared for the job.
Multitaskers. So what's been like the best part of doing this whole
Gosh.
experience?
It's gonna sound really cheesy, and I'm so sorry, but
No.
I'm not sorry. It
Got
really is it's the people.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in a different state this entire year every 48 hours. And so I am thrown entirely into completely different lifestyles, cultures, ways of living, perspectives, traditions every 2 days.
Right.
And so I've gotten to be around some of the most amazing, hilarious, wonderful, interesting, amazing, wonderful, world-changing people.
Right,
And
exactly.
so I've become a collective of everyone I've met this year.
That's amazing. And what have you
Yeah.
learned about America as a whole?
I've learned that we're a lot similar than we think we are. A
Right.
lot more similar, I should say. I
Totally.
think that that's something that I almost was confused about at first, if that makes sense, because we see so much, division, and especially in the media that's portrayed. But what I've been so fortunate enough to witness and to see is even from, I guess, when I'm in schools in Rhode Island, or if I'm talking to the rice farmers of America, or if I'm in here in LA, what I've gotten to witness firsthand is that we all want the exact same thing.
Right.
We all want the people we love to be safe, and we all want to feel loved, and we all want to feel like we have the ability to do as much as our potential allows us. And so I'm very, very fortunate to have been able to experience that. And so hopefully I'll be able to explain that to other people.
Right, right.
World
That's
peace.
amazing. Yeah, world peace.
It's the reason why we do pageants.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it really is, though. Goodness.
Seriously, yeah, it
But-
sounds hokey, but it's really the end goal,
It's
right?
our end goal.
You know?
It should be, at least. It should be.
Right. Well, so what have you learned about yourself?
Atlanta. I feel like I have to lean back for that answer, but I feel like I could literally talk 12 years about this, but when I look at who I was and when I watch videos of when I was crowned, I just think to myself, like, oh, sweet girl. Like,
You
she
don't
has
even
no
know.
idea.
Yeah.
Like, she doesn't know anything. And again, it's so funny because when I won this and I was planning to, prepare and train, I had this mindset that I knew exactly what it was going to be like. And I was like, I know exactly what it's going to be like. I know I can do the job. Like, I'm going to be so fine. Like, I've done this. I've worked. I've waited. And you only know 10% of the job.
Right.
You know? And and it's the Instagram effect where you see the highlight reel and you have no idea what the backstage is like. And so it's, I've grown a lot and I've become a lot stronger, I think is the best way to say it. And that's been something that I've become a little prideful about. And looking at just, you know, I don't want to say sweet savvy, but I look back and I'm like, she knew nothing. And she hasn't traveled, you know, the world. She hadn't seen so many different things and she wasn't tested. And it's been difficult, but all growth is difficult. And so I'm forever grateful for it, though.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And I know that did you have a mentor on this journey? Did you have past winners kind of talk to you?
Yes and no. Yeah. I mean, like, there's never someone, like, you know, that's constantly with you, you know, the whole time.
Exactly.
I mean, like, you have your managers, but then they rotate with you. And so you have people that always reach out, though.
Right.
You always have people that, especially for Miss Americas. I remember it was the Miss America from 1974 from Mississippi. She told me towards the beginning of my year, she reminded me, now remember, Miss America becomes you for the year. You don't become Miss America. And I like started bawling for some reason whenever I heard that, just because it reminds you of, you know, this whole identity crisis that we go at our quarter of our lives and trying to figure out who we are, of is this title me or is this title the 100 women before me? Right. And, you know, we're reminding ourselves of the connotations of that, but it's, you know, it's really exciting and I've needed that. I've needed a lot of help from a lot of different people and they've graciously given it to me.
Well, and that's so sweet of you because I know that you're calling state, right? Is that right? You're calling the girls who are winning their state that are going to Miss America.
Yeah, I called all of them. Well, yeah, I don't know.
Sweet.
I wanted to.
Oh,
I mean,
that's so sweet.
It was so much more, thank you, but I feel like it was much more of a selfish endeavor because, I don't know. I mean, this is going to sound so stupid. Sorry. So yes, I really wanted to call them and say, like, hey, this is a very impartial third party, because a lot of information is given to them. I mean, they're freaking out.
Right.
I mean,
can't imagine.
They can't, you know, say that they're freaking out, but they're freaking out.
Right.
And it's a very hard time because there's a lot of people telling you a lot of different things.
Exactly.
And, well, I shouldn't say things, opinions of what they should do, what they should wear, what they should look like, how they should talk. And I wanted them to have, you know, my number just in case. But at the same time, I really loved, like, calling them because it's an unknown number. And no one answers unknown numbers these days. And so, which is kind of a bummer. But so I would call them, and every time they would answer, and I mean, selfishly, when I'd be like, hey, it's Savvy, it would be really fun to, like,
that's
really
so
selfish.
Sweet.
But and at times, I remember, this is awful, I called Miss Hawaii, so time difference. I didn't think about this. It was like 3 in the morning when I called her, and she was like, hello? And I was like, go back to bed, I'm so sorry. And I felt terrible, but it was, it was so much fun. But also, you know, it just, it allowed me before orientation, before we met everyone, to kind of, you know, get to know them. And that way, when they got there, it's not as scary, hopefully.
Right.
It can be a scary thing.
Oh, I'm sure.
Hopefully it eased them a little bit. I think I freaked maybe some of them out.
No,
okay.
That's so sweet.
I hope not. They're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, that would be a great call to get if I was going through the process. Phone call. Yeah. So did you go through the process with them? In September, a little bit?
Yes and no. Yeah, yeah. I'm always there, but I'm not competing.
Right.
So it's I'm there, and I'm like, I don't know, I'm not a mama bird, but I'm like,
who needs a bobby pin?
There watching.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Not really, but kind of. I'd like to think so, but it's more of I'm going to be there the entire 2 weeks, but again, my role is going to be a lot different, you know, than what they're doing. They're in the competitive mode, where I'm in the nurturing, loving, nostalgic mode.
Yeah, yeah, totally different than last year, I'm sure.
Exactly. So it's a little different, but it'll be really fun. I'm excited to go back this year. You know, it's there's no pressure for me. Right. I mean, there could be, but if it's self-inflicted. But it's much more of a you know, it's a coming into a new age.
Exactly.
We'll say that.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, a new age is so exciting. So what are you most excited about when you're done?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't know why I keep doing that. I think because I just got my nails done, and so I feel like, you know, when you have nails and you like, feel like you're like, I don't know, not important, but you feel like you're like doing something sophisticated.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think that I'm excited for. I'm excited to learn all the things that I've learned, and I'm excited to use these experiences that I've learned as Miss America, but using them as Savvy.
Right.
That's, I mean, that doesn't say much, but for a year, you're called by a different name, and for a year, you're called by a title that has 100 years worth of history behind it.
Right.
And so there's a lot of temptation to think that people like you or people are talking to you not because of you, but because of your title, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally.
Which is,
I'm sure.
you know, that's a whole other topic. But it's exciting for me to be able to take all of this and to take what I've learned, to take this growth, and then be able to use it as savvy, which is really fun. And I don't know, it's exciting. I can't wait. It's going to be a good time.
That's exciting. And you'll be able to see your family all the time.
Exactly.
Have you been able to see them this past year, or it's far and few between?
Far and few between.
Hey, Mom, see you later in 5 minutes.
Exactly. Like, see you next year. But if I'm booked in Arkansas, you know, if I have an appearance there, absolutely, I'm going to make sure I see them. But, you know, among that, it's, you know, it's more than a full-time job. I mean, it doesn't come off just when the crown's off. I mean, it's 24/8 if there was one. It's nonstop, which is good. I mean, I feel like I can come out of this year and not say that I can do anything, but I can know that if I'm scared, that it's okay.
Yeah, no reason
that
to
I've
be,
done this,
and
so now I can do something else.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
and for your family, I mean, how cool was that for them? I'm sure your family now
so
in town
sweet.
is everybody's like,
well, and
guys, the royal family.
The royal family. Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
Well, I think my brother, my brother's, we were like best friends. He's like, I think a year and a half younger than I am. But I think it took him around like 2 years to kind of figure out, you know, not 2 years, 2 months to kind of figure out how to use this to his advantage, but how do you know, like, rock with it and how to like flow with it. And so he's my favorite though. He's hilarious, and he just, you know, he mocks me now just to bring my ego down a little bit, which is good. I need it, but he is wonderful. And so it's been fun, you know, to experience that with my family, because they were such a huge part of the process.
Right,
you know? And
I'm sure.
There's absolutely no way I would be here if it wasn't for them. It wasn't for them challenging me and encouraging me and making sure that I was, you know, working towards my goal.
Right.
And so it's special to get to experience small moments with them.
Exactly. Did anybody else do pageants? Did your mom do pageants?
No.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
you're the first.
I know. Yeah. No, no, it's not, you know, not in the
Sometimes
family.
it's a family
not
thing.
the family career, but
okay, yeah. Sometimes it is.
I know, not the family business, but she never did pageants, but my mom is much more my best friend than my mom as I've grown up, and I've become very thankful for that, because it's been something that we can, you know, like, it's a huge hobby that we both have of you know, figuring this out and setting a goal and figuring it. I mean,
so sweet.
she's been wonderful. I mean, she's bedazzled way too many things.
Oh,
I feel, but she kind of loves it. It's almost like, so I knit, and I love knitting more than anything in the world. And she's like found her knitting niche and bedazzling, because it's like,
so
you know, she loves it. Oh my gosh,
just really adds sparkle to anything.
I feel like everything should be bedazzled now.
It just should
and
be.
That may be the most pageant-y thing I've ever seen.
But it's true.
But it's true.
Try it, people. I think it makes a big difference.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Won't
with
stop.
The bedazzler.
Won't stop with the stones. Okay, so your platform.
Yes.
Eat Better, Live Better.
Yeah.
So what have you seen any differences in the country? Like, is there more emphasis on health maybe in LA or?
Oh, good question. I think it's very much a fad. We can say that.
Totally.
We can
gluten-free.
Totally say that anything organic or gluten-free or, you know, all that jazz is a fad. We can say that with fact. But I think what's been interesting is, you know, going around the country and seeing this desire, but almost not knowing how to get there, if that makes sense. Because that was my problem, is that I grew up in a very healthy home, but I never really knew, well, I never thought much of it. I just like, okay, we eat healthy. But I never really understood the quality of life that I would have if I didn't eat healthy, if that makes sense.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I didn't recognize the connection between what I was eating and how I was feeling. And so it's been cool to kind of, you know, teach that and go through, you know, the country, from kids to farmers to adults to the American Heart Association, talking about this, because there's parallels in all of it. And it's been really neat, selfishly, to see that. It's taken lots of many different forms too. We've taken the Eat Better, Live Better hashtag into Miss America Work with an E, because it has to be an E.
Yes.
And it's like the working out part of it, the fitness part, the strength part, and then like savvy choices and making it more of like
love that.
making, you know, smart choices daily about what we're putting into our bodies and things of that nature. And so it's been neat to see the changes and the paths that it's taken, you know, across the country.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'm proud of it, but it's been fun. It's been cool. I'm thankful that I've gotten to do so much with it this year. So.
Right. Well, have you had a chance to watch any of the Netflix documentaries about food?
Like
Forks
Food
Over Knives
Matters?
made me want to be
Which
a
one's
vegetarian.
that?
It's about meat and stuff.
Have you watched Food Matters?
I haven't watched that one yet.
That
is it
one
good?
is like one of my favorite ones.
Okay.
That's really amazing. It shocked me.
Really?
I can't. I mean, well, because it shows you how much sugar's in like this much food. And I'm like,
there's another one. It's got like 2 M&Ms. I can see it. I can't remember.
I
what
know
it's
you're
called.
talking about too, with the white background. I have no idea, but it's on Netflix.
Yeah. Something about sugar. But yes, the sugar. It's probably
the Sugar Trap.
No, it's something like.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I'll think about it.
Okay, deal. We'll pray about it. It'll come to us in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, I think
there's
sugar's
so much
a big deal,
information
right?
out. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, 80% of foods on supermarket shelves today have more added sugar in them than they did 50 years ago.
Right.
I mean, we've doubled that amount of sugar, which is unbelievably unhealthy.
Right.
And very scary for our health.
Yeah.
And I mean, that causes not just obesity, but some cancers, cardiovascular diseases, metabolic diseases, and it causes so much that we don't think about firsthand. And it's so much more than a weight loss or weight gain issue, but it's a quality of life.
Exactly.
Being fatigued, having motivation, having mental emotional stress, you know, being able to do things we want, and it covers so much more area than we initially think.
Right. And I know that even a few years ago, I never looked at sugar. Sugar didn't mean anything to me. I'd look at calories. Calories got 100 calories.
That was everything. That's all we knew. Right.
Sounds good to me. But then the sugar's like 20 grams, which is actually
crazy.
insane.
And we're only supposed to have 40.
Yeah, a day. It's hard.
Isn't that crazy?
But yeah.
What in the world?
I know.
Who knew?
I know.
Knowledge.
But I'm glad now we know.
Now we know.
So now we can make some positive changes.
Exactly.
What's your favorite workout? Have you been working out on the road?
Oh, bless it. One of the, well, honestly, I've had to get really creative. So I bring a yoga mat with me because, you know, not all hotels have, you know, workout facilities or anything like that.
Right.
And I've gotten really, really, you know, into YouTube videos.
Oh, I love it.
Certain yoga. But I loved, my favorite training thing was body combat.
Oh,
You know that?
I've heard of it.
It's like
I haven't done it.
kickboxing.
Ooh, fun.
It was my favorite.
Really?
I never realized I was an aggressive person until I went to a kickboxing class, and I was like, this is awesome.
This is great. Yeah, this is therapeutic.
Right.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was great. So those are my favorite ones. But
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it was a good time.
That's fun.
Always
That's
about
fun.
it.
Yeah. Oh, well, also I had a question because you travel so much.
Yes.
And how do you, like, what's a healthy snack? Like, what's a good healthy snack?
Water.
Water is the
Kidding.
best.
That's terrible. An ice cube.
LOL.
X9. That's not funny. Okay, so a good healthy snack. Any Whole Foods. That's what I think that I try to find, and what's sometimes honestly the hardest to find, especially in airports and you know, if there's not a grocery store around.
Right.
But finding something that, you know, you can name with a single ingredient.
Right.
Banana, apple, orange, you know,
Yeah.
things that you can name and things that you can pronounce. Yeah, I think it's really important in figuring out if it's grown in the sun or if it's grown in the lab. And it's been a struggle to, you know, slowly but surely plan these out because I'm never going to a place that I know.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Of
So I'm
course.
always kind of in a new environment saying, will there be healthy food there? We don't know. Let's find out. And so it's kind of like it's a preparatory thing.
Yeah, it's probably a
figuring
fun
that out.
experiment too.
Super fun experiment.
I don't know, but it sounds kind of fun.
Body's loving it.
Yeah. Okay, so a little bit, we're going to go down a little bit.
Okay.
So teen girls, the depression rate has gone up so much.
Oh, yeah.
But I just want to commend you on being such a great example on social media because I think that
my
that's a huge
gosh,
part
thank
of
you.
why girls, it's the comparison game, you know?
Yeah.
These
Oh my
younger
gosh,
girls have to
yes.
look at, you know, stuff all the time, but I just want
Right.
to say your social media is like great and it sets
Well,
such a great
thank you.
example.
You're very, very sweet. I've
do you
tried to
think
be a
that
little
that's-
intentional about that.
Right,
Oh my gosh,
right,
yes.
that's
Well, I
important.
mean, I struggled with that hugely in my, you know, when I freshman year of college, sophomore year of college. I mean, it's something that you, and it's something that we as a society, I think, have a lot of negative connotations with, and something that we don't really talk a lot about because the social media effect of everyone has everything together, and if you don't, then that's not the normal, which is the complete opposite. I mean, no one has anything together. We're all trying to figure out what it means to be an adult, and so it's something that is really important, and hopefully, and you're so sweet to even say that, but I've had a goal at the beginning of the year that I wanted to be a Miss America that was very transparent of the really great days, of the really hard days, of what the realness of this was, because you know, Instagram shows 10% of my job.
Right.
And my life is the whole 125,000%. And so it's something that, you know, I think you're entirely right. You nailed it on the head. We have this comparison game of a filtered life when all we know is our backstage. And it's hard and it's scary to have that so closely to ourselves when it's something that we don't talk about. But I've found even when in traveling the country, and some of my favorite moments are when I get to talk to other title holders and when I go into, you know, like the work weekends or the workshops or the state pageants, and we talk about out in the open, because I think that things are so scary when they're inside of us, but whenever they're outside, they don't can become as tangled.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we talk about these issues, and we talk about them from a very honest place and a very transparent place, and people recognize, oh, I'm not the only one.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I, for such a long time, sought pageants as a place to find that sense of worth, of no, see you in pageants, you are pretty. No, see you in pageants, you are successful. No, see you in pageants, you are intelligent, fill in the blank. And it became such a long time for me to realize that that was not satisfying. And it became such a long, ridiculous process for me to recognize that I kept seeking this very temporary and fleeting sense of happiness, when I needed to find this sense of joy rather than just a fleeting moment of happiness. And so it's a really neat thing that I've been able to talk about, and I'm very fortunate. Those are some of my favorite days this year, is when we get really raw conversations with, you know, because I think it's, I mean, one of the biggest things I see facing not just in teens, but in young women and in women and in men too, is something that we don't talk about. And so I've been very thankful that I've been able to this year.
That's incredible. And that also brings me to my next point. You've talked about training your brain.
Yeah, love it. It's my favorite thing in the world.
Okay, there's this thing, tell us.
Well, so there's this thing called like your think bank. Okay, roll with me now. So it's called our think bank. And so it has lots of levels in the bank. All right. And so the very first level is what we do. That's what we say. That's what we think. Beneath that is our thought patterns and our subconscious, and beneath that is our think bank. And so this bank goes up and down, and it triples, if that makes sense. So whatever is filled in our think bank will affect our subconscious, which affects what we think, which affects what we say, which affects how we act and how we view ourselves. And so what I had to do when I was, you know, coming out of depression, or whenever I was trying to, you know, not retrain my brain, was I had to go from the top down. Because you can't just say, all right, think bank change, let's think happy thoughts, because it's not going to work. And so I had to train from the top of force-feeding myself truth. And then so over and over again, that slowly became what I would say, slowly became what I thought, slowly filled up my subconscious, and over time became what my think bank was filled with. And so it's this idea that what we're putting into our bodies is how we're going to feel and how we're going to think about ourselves. And I think that, again, we don't teach these things. We kind of just assume that everyone knows how to deal with really, really big problems, and we don't.
Totally.
You know? And we just know how to deal with really, really great Instagram filters. We don't really know how to deal with the really deep issues that we're feeling, because they're really scary and you know, dark at times. And so I think it's really important to bring those to the light and bring those to the surface.
Yeah, well, you're such a great example of
Thank
all of
you.
those things. So
I hope so. My Atlanta. It's one of those things where at the end of the year, you know, or at the end of the end. I know this isn't the end, but it's the end of the rain.
Yeah.
And so you think of, you know, the beginning, and you think of, you know, did I do a good job this whole year? Because I only have 19 days left. Well, thank you, sister. But you know what I mean? I know that that's so silly, and even saying it out loud, it feels silly, but you always think to yourself, like, did I do enough? You know what I mean? And so it's moments when you know, I remind myself of why I wanted to do it in the first place, and what my goals were, and, you know, bigger picture things of I wanted to, you know, hopefully make other girls feel like Miss America, and I wanted other girls to, you know the things that I didn't know when I was their age. And so hopefully, you know, I've been able to. But
so sweet. I just got chills. That was so cute.
Thank you.
You're so good at this. So, okay, 19
re-election,
days.
just kidding.
I'm down. I'll start a petition.
We'll start a petition. We'll write down the re-election. We'll fill in the ballot. We'll see how it goes over.
So 19 days.
19 days.
What is in these 19 days?
I don't know.
You don't know? It's kind of like you wake up every morning.
Yeah,
and
you
then
know.
kind of go with the flow.
Well, so this is what I tried to in the beginning, like know by month, but that was just way too much. And so then it got to, I know by weeks is kind of what I know. But more, if we're being really honest, I know by hour what we're really doing. And so I will, you know, wake up that morning, figure out what I'm doing, and then we'll go with the day. But so we're doing this. We're doing, you know, I'm, you know, kind of doing my last ends of media and you know, talking about my year, talking about the next girl, and then we'll be there for 2 whole weeks. Right. Kind of living our best lives.
Yeah, doing it big.
Doing it big. And
you'll be like relaxing by the pool.
I'll be chilling. Yeah. I'll be like, y'all have fun over there. Do more push-ups.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Exactly. Exactly. But it is going to be a really fun time. I'm excited. It's cool because this is something I've watched, you know, since I was 8 years old. I've watched the role models in my life do the things that I'm about to do. Exactly. And which is, you know, really weird. you know, to picture yourself. Yeah, it's very strange, you know. I've watched, you know, countless Miss Americas take their final walk, and I remember thinking that they were the greatest things in the entire world, and they still are, but I don't, in my mind, hold myself to that level. And so it's a very strange feeling to, you know, picture yourself doing the things that you've admired for your entire life.
Right. But, and you've been able to do some really cool stuff. So many fun TV appearances.
Right. Oh, it's been so much fun.
What was like
crazy?
Is there one day that was like, wow, I literally can't believe that just happened? Like live with Kelly was probably really cool.
That was really great. I wanted her to adopt me in that moment, but I don't know. I was like trying to like send her the signal. We had matching dimples, and so it was like, you see, we're related, please me. And so I don't know if it worked though, but you know, moments like that, or moments when, you know, we're presenting at the billboards or the AMAs or the ACMs, those are just crazy, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm a broke college student. None of these people, like, you know, they think I'm a whole lot cooler than I actually am.
You are so cool though.
But you think about these things, and so those are the moments that are just stupid fun. And then there's moments when, like this past Thanksgiving, I actually spent it in Kuwait. And so I went overseas to visit the troops during Thanksgiving for that whole week. And it was, you know, spending, you know, Thanksgiving in the Middle East was one of the craziest and greatest experiences I've ever had. I've never been more proud to be an American than when I was standing in an entire room of men and women who are sacrificing everything, you know, for my freedom. And so it was really unbelievable. And that week alone, the number of men who said that their daughters are being born that week. I mean, you don't, and I hate it more than anything that it took me having to be there to recognize the severity of what that they and their families are sacrificing, but I'm forever grateful. And it was one of the best things. I mean, it will be the best Thanksgiving I've ever had. You know, we sat around the table. We also were thankful for. You know, we did the whole nine. It was great, but it was
so sweet.
It was really amazing, and it was something that I would have never in my entire life ever had the opportunity to do if I wasn't Miss America.
Right.
You know, and so nor will I ever go again. I mean, unless I'm convinced someone to take me with them. But you know, it's a really amazing thing. So it's moments like that you know, in terms of what's going to change me for the rest of my life, change my character, my personality, and the way I view things, it's those moments for sure.
Oh my gosh, you gave me chills again.
It's what I do. It's what I do. It's my job. I'm supposed to make people cry.
That's awesome. Okay, so should we do the big reveal? Because you guys, there's a magic box on the desk, and I feel like maybe if we could get a song going, that'd be really great.
Can we do? I mean,
what should we do?
We can do the "There She Is."
Oh, there she is.
Or what's another one? Or like the Cinderella song when it's like, or like some like opera song.
Right.
So this is my box. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it a little bit. It's mahogany. I actually don't know. Is it mahogany?
It looks like mahogany.
We're just going to say it's mahogany.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
I can use it as a weapon, but I honestly just use it as a purse. So I'll show you. But so this is actually, I've been a little rough with mine. So this is the version like 2.0. So the mirror broke. Oops, sorry. Nope. There used to be a mirror right there, which would help me put on the crown.
Okay.
And then there we've got room keys, and then bobby pins and lipsticks, and there's a teasing comb in there, but we'll just leave all of that nasty in there.
All necessary.
And we'll put this beauty.
Wow. Breathtaking.
Makes me cry sometimes.
What was it like the first time you put it on?
By myself, it was very strange.
Okay.
You know, the very first time when they put it on your head, you're blacked out. You have no idea what's going on. I mean, there's like no way you remember that moment. But, you know, the next time when you put it on yourself, that's a very special moment. Yeah. Because that's something that you dream of.
Right.
Of like, you know, taking it and, you know, claiming it as your own. But I know the very last time I take it off, it'll be very emotional as well. Right. That last bobby pin, you know what I mean? Like, oh my God. The last bobby. It's like a next rock band.
Is it the same? The last bobby pin. I like it.
I'm telling you.
Like Thunderstruck.
Band names.
Yeah. But is it the same crown? This might be a dumb question.
Heavens no. I'm way too emotionally attached to this thing.
Okay, good. Phew.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm giving this up. This is going on like some mantle or like, I don't know.
Of course.
Like the front entry of my house.
Yeah.
I'm imagining I have a house. I don't have a house, but in my apartment, we're gonna put
on every kitchen countertop.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's you know, it's been with me everywhere. You can become very emotionally attached to this inanimate object.
Yeah, it's your best friend.
Sadly, I've seen this thing more than I've seen anyone else in my life, but it's something where you know that there's times when like I take it off and I'm like, you recognize and there's 100 years of history with this crown. And there's so many moments when you are reminded of how much this means to people.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, we're laughing of like crying in front of it, but the number of times I've had so many people run up to me bawling their eyes out because Miss America meant something to them when they were, you know, meant something to them, meant something to their friend, to their parent, to, you know, I've realized the connection that it holds with so many people, and that's been really special. It's reminded me of how important this title is and how important it is to hold up that standard of what it means.
Right. Oh, well, you're doing it. You're doing it. 19 days.
I can do it for 19 days?
Yeah, but you really represented America so well. So
Thank
we are
you.
all so thankful that you're a
Goodness.
representative.
Well, I am too.
Because she is really real. She's real.
She's real.
It's not.
Homegirl's real.
Yeah, homegirl's real.
Well,
It doesn't
thank
stop when
you.
the cameras are off. You're great. So.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
You're very
thanks
sweet.
for being such a great
Of course.
example.
No, this is my favorite. This is wonderful.
Yeah.
Sister.
Sister. Yeah,
Adele.
we're KKG sisters. That's right.
Can we do it?
Sisters. Yeah.
Can we do it?
How wait? I haven't done this in a minute.
Oh, come on. Is it
Okay.
this one?
Is
There
this
we
right?
go.
Okay.
We made it.
I don't know if
wow,
that's
that took way
technically
too
right, but-
long.
Shoot, I
Blue
haven't
and
been here in a while. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
Absolutely, sister.
Wait,
I'm so
real
glad.
quick,
What?
what's the end goal? Where are we going to see you in like 20 years?
Everywhere.
Art gallery? Okay, everywhere.
Everywhere.
I'm down
That's
for
just the
everywhere.
goal.
That's perfect.
You know, when you do so much life, like this year, you want to do. I mean, when you do so much life, you want to do so much life.
Right?
I don't know if that makes any sense,
Exactly,
but
yeah.
you experience so much, and you don't want to stop that.
Right.
I mean, you become obsessed with seeing so many world changers and people who are making a difference and
Right.
are being adventurous, and you want to continue to do that. You know,
Right,
you
right.
see, and I think one of the biggest things I've realized is that there's so much life out there that we have no idea about.
Right.
There's so much life.
Yeah.
that I have the smallest grasp on what's going on, and so you know, trying to get closer to that grasping is I'm gonna be
amazing.
everywhere.
Yes.
No idea what that means.
Savvy City. I like it. Let's make you a town. Let's make her a
town.
I don't know.
Bless
With cool
it.
art
Oh my
galleries and stuff.
gonna be
and
filled with
crowns
art
on
galleries.
every corner. Yeah, I can see it. Just
I
what I'm
love it. And
saying.
bedazzling guns.
Yeah. Welcome to Savvy City. Psh, 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 psh. Everybody gets bedazzled. I love it.
I can't.
Sign me up. I'll be mayor. Can I be mayor?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great.
We got it.
Amazing.
It'll be a ticket.
Awesome. I'm down. Well, thank you so much, Savvy.
Thank you,
You're
sister.
amazing. We
No,
really
so are
appreciate
you.
it. And thank
had
you
so much
guys for
fun.
joining us. You're the bomb.
Thank y'all so much.
Yay.
So much
19
love.
days. OMG. Follow her. Woo!
19
Thank you
days.
guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.